All right, Be'ezrat Hashem. So we continue. We are we're page 49 in this Art Scroll book. Okay, we're now Pasuk Yud Aleph. Just to remind everybody, we're still in Perek Aleph.
Bereshit. We're gonna hit soon, Bereshit. It's gonna get there.
Okay.
Rosh Hashanah after. What page?
49.
Vayomer Elohim. No, we're still in the second day. Huh? Vayomer Elohim tadshe haaretz deshe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, Hashem said that the earth should sprout sprouts of plants. Okay. Esev mazria zera, right? Sprout that have seeds. Etz peri, trees of fruits. Ose peri, that make fruits. Lemino, to its kind. Asher zar obo, that contains its own seed. Ala aretz, on earth. Vayichen, and so it was. Yes? Okay. No, all right. I'm used to this one. Okay. Alors. Vayomer Elohim tadshe haaretz deshe. Says the Ramban. Okay. Gazar שיהיה תולדת הארץ כוח הצומח ומוליד זרע. He decreed that the earth should have the power to sprout, should have the power to bring out the vegetation. And it's coming to do what? Le'apuke is coming to reject the idea that what should have the power of bringing out the vegetation, the seed itself. So now it's coming to tell you, no, the earth is the essence that has the power to bring out the tzomeach.
As a contradistinction to the seed?
To the seed, yes. Now, and how does he know that? Because he says, what does it say that the earth should bring out sprout? Earth is dead.
Right.
Right? It should have said what? Let the vegetation bring out, grow. So why does it, how can it ask from the earth that is dead to bring out vegetation, to sprout vegetation? From here you see that God gave the earth the power to bring out the vegetation. So so vegetation is very important. Vegetation's source of power comes from the earth, not from the seed. So the seed is only a tool for the earth to bring out its power of growth of vegetation, of greenery.
What's the explanation of deshe?
We're going to see, okay? We're going to see. Deshe, right now, it means a green field.
Grass.
Not more than grass. More than grass.
Okay.
Because no, it's a big machloket Rashi and Ramban. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna touch it. It's a very good. Herbs, greenery. Right now, that's the pshat of that we need for now. And why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do that? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu infuse the power of vegetation in the earth and not in the vegetable itself? So that the vegetation, okay, should stay forever and never disappear. Now, if the power of vegetation is the seed, if the seed goes, then there's not going to be any vegetation, right? But if the power of vegetation comes from the earth, right? So even if there is no seeds, right? The earth itself has the ability to bring out some type of vegetation.
But it needs the seed. You can't just
today. No, but again, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the earth bring out deshe, there was no seeds. He didn't plant anything.
Okay.
Okay, today you have that, but you see in a lot of places in the world that nobody planted nothing, right? And we have forests. Go to Amazonia. Nobody planted the Amazonia. Nobody planted the forest of a center of Congo, and yet you have these are the lungs. These are the lungs of the world. Okay, why? Because the earth knows how to bring out vegetation. Now, if you specifically plant something, obviously, right, the power of the earth will develop whatever that seed contains.
Okay.
So in order to secure vegetation throughout history, throughout of creation, HaKadosh Baruch Hu ensured that the power of vegetation.
So what did Rashi think happened?
Nobody says there's a machloket right now.
No, it says it in 154.
What says in 164? What? We didn't say Rashi. 1 second. He didn't address Rashi. 154.
No, he addressed it the same page. But let me ask you
Decree that there should be 154. This is a contradiction of Rashi interpretation. With Tadshe Haaretz means that the earth become covered with vegetation. Yes. No, it's different. According to Rashi, the earth was passive. Yes. HaKadosh Baruch Hu planted. Okay. Versus the earth brought out.
Like a Hiluli. Like the earth is the Hiluli.
According to the Ramban.
Yeah.
Yes, the Ramban will say that exactly. And he's going to say it right now. V'yitachen sheyirmoz. V'yitachen. Now that's one shot, okay? The second shot, v'yitachen sheyirmoz, maybe that's what it means. Ba'aretz hanizkeret b'pasuk harishon. Maybe it's referring to when it says haaretz, to the first aretz, right? That's brought in Bereshit, in the first pasuk. It took from the word eretz, which are the 4 elements, right? He brought out the power of tzmicha, the power of sprouting from it, meaning it was in it already. It was inside the hiuli, right? Inside those elements. And all he did is he activated that power. Versus the first pirush, that he infused that power. So according to the first Kiddush, the first interpretation, he infused in earth the power of tzmicha, the power of sprouting. And in the second pirush, the second Kiddush, right? The second Kiddush, he activated the koach of tzmicha. He activated the koach tzmicha that was already existent inside the eretz. All he did,
the same thing.
It's not the same thing. The first one he infused, he put it inside, he infused it. The second it's inside, but it's not active.
Wasn't activated.
Right.
So why is this whole situation unique to the Desha and Eretz?
What?
Why is this whole situation only unique to
Who said it's unique?
it doesn't infuse? Okay, we'll get there later. It doesn't infuse after that.
What?
Go. Okay, we'll get there later.
I don't know. No, but no, I don't know what you.
He's saying that here he's in the first pirush. He's saying that he's infusing
Yes.
the avasha. He's giving the avasha the
earth.
The earth.
The eretz, not the
eretz. Sorry, the eretz.
Avasha is in the morning.
The shit that they.
Now we're in the evening. Vayere vayboker. Okay, we're here now. Okay, no. Okay.
That Yosef is the night.
No.
He says that the Desha gives the eretz the ability to sprout.
Yeah.
Okay. But other things he created, he didn't create them. He didn't give the ability to create the animals.
Created it.
To create it, right? The question is, he could have given other, why is it that this is unique to this shoulder?
He didn't plant seeds here.
Yeah.
He infused in the earth the power of the Desha, and the Desha was. Okay.
My question is,
he didn't plant seeds and then he took time for them to grow.
In most of the things, he creates stuff. He doesn't give something else the ability.
Why didn't he just create the plants?
Why did he just create the plants?
Who said he didn't? But that's how he did it.
No, he invented.
No, I'm saying, why weren't the plants and the trees just created? Over here, the Ramban is saying the earth was created, and out of the earth came these things.
Yes.
Michael's saying, why didn't Hashem
Just
take
create
forest
and what should there be? Tell me how was it? And he created tree and puts it there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, what's the problem?
Say it because
I say Yehi. Why should he say Tatshe? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You shouldn't say Tatshe. You should say
Right.
Yehi Deshe.
Right.
Very good. Very good. So the Ramban addresses it, and he says because that's only an element of its own. It's a prat. A prat is it's a detail. It's a detail in the earth. It's not a creation of its own. And he addresses that later by saying, how come there's not a day that's specific for the vegetation? How come we don't have a day that's specific for the creation of vegetation? Because they didn't create nothing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't create nothing. All he did is extracted, right, the potential that was already there. Now, was the potential in the Hiyuli and it came out?
Yeah.
Okay. Or was it the potential that was there and he just put it inside? But a creation of its own, it's not.
So when was the potential created?
At the time of the Hiyuli. That's Vadai. That's Vadai. Yes. Whether after that he infused it in it or it was inside already, these are the two Pirushim.
Did he water it or did he not?
That's
he does
after that is the prayer of Adam HaRishon. That's what we'll see. כן האדם לעבוד את האדמה. כן. ולכן וכל קטן הצומח וכל sorry. מרינה.
ייתכן.
וייתכן שירמוז, כן, בארץ הנזכרת בראשון, שימשל ממנה כוח המצמיח, אוקיי? כוח מצמיח. והנה נאצלו מכוחה היסודות למיניהם, from the power of the earth, right? That was carrying all those kochot. Ne'etzlu comes out mikocha from the power of the eretz, of the four elements of the yesodot, and to each its own species. Yeah.
No. Go again. שימשכו ממנו כוח מצמיח, והנה
נאצלו. It comes out מikocha, כן, from the koach of the eretz, היסודות למיניהם, the roots and the sources of each species. Right? Because each yesod is different, has a different koach.
Okay.
Umehem, and for example, from them, tzamchu began Eden, from them, right? So we had the tzmicha, the sprouts inside the Gan Eden, deshaim ve'ilanot, right? Vegetation and trees. Umehem ba'olam, and some in the rest of the world. What's the difference between the Gan Eden? We're talking about the Gan Eden in this world. Okay? That's the Gan. Yes. That's the Gan Eden that Alexander Mogdon reached. You know the story? Yeah? No?
Alexander Mogdon?
Yes. Yes, in Moed Katan. You're learning Moed Katan.
Yeah, what page? I'm on 9.
No, you have time. You have time at the end. Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great, the Gemara tells us that he reached the gates of Gan Eden. He found Gan Eden in Africa. Right? And the last, yes.
So the Trump. Yeah.
And the last, he doesn't care about Africa. If he did, we would be in a better place.
He just sanctioned Africa, South Africa.
That's South Africa, not South Africa. It's not there. It's anyways. And the Gemara tells us that he reaches a place. It was where you had the last city. Okay, that was gating the Gan Eden was a city of women only. And that was his last conquer. What?
Yeah.
What did you say?
We're going. Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't understand.
No.
Yeah. So he went there. Listen to the. So and he sieged the city, and he said, you know, bring me bread.
Any symbolism to the women guarding Gan Eden?
We're gonna let's not get into that. Yes, for sure. But he sees the city. So the ladies send a message and they say, listen, Mimay nafshach, you're in trouble. Why? Because if you win the war is gonna say you attack the city of women. And if you lose, everybody say you lost because of women. So why fight? Right? So so he said, okay, give me food. So they sent him a loaf of bread made out of gold. And they said, listen, if you came all the way here, right, to eat, then you have food at home, right? So why did you come here? You came here for the gold, right? But you already have the power. So like you're basically wasting your time. Like you're running after a power that you already have and is only going to go down. So go home and get a life. So he built a gate, okay, by the front of the city, and he said that from that place he learned. Alexander learned what it means to be sage. He learned wisdom. When you get to that, you're gonna it's a fascinating story of Alexander the Great. Now, just so you know, Alexander the Great is the Alexander that met with Shimon HaTzadik, okay, on Chanukah that we addressed. And who was his leavdil? Who was his mentor? You know, Aristotle. 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 Anyways, so bottom line, we're going back to this. So because he installed in the mentality of all individuals, us included, right, a way of thinking that forces you to have to find to force you
God
to question, yes, even though and it's in our DNA today, in our way of thinking. Yeah. Okay, so now but he says there's a difference. Look at this. There's Yesodot that grew in Gan Eden, and trees and Deshaim, and trees that grew and vegetation that grew in the rest of the world. It seems as that there was a difference between, or there is a difference between the vegetation that is in Gan Eden from the vegetation around the world. You understand?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm saying or no?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference
between what?
Between what grew inside, Ken? What grew inside the Gan Eden and what grew inside in the rest of the world. So the Ramban,
the land is probably different, no?
The Ramban says something.
Oh, it's different?
Maybe, but there's nature. So he says something phenomenal. Look at this. If you want to see, you can. I can read it. If you go to Perek Bet Pasuk Chet, Vehine ilane Gan Eden. Perek Bet Pasuk Chet.
Perek Bet.
Yeah. 98.
Vehine ilane Gan Eden. Do you see? You see?
Wait, Gan Eden.
Yes.
99.
Vehine.
Yes.
Vehine ilane Gan Eden. Here, the trees from Gan Eden. Gazar b'hem la'asot anaf ve'laset peri la'ad le'olam. It should make fruits and branches that last forever. Lo yazkin ba'aretz shorsham. The roots don't get old. Meaning the trees and the vegetation of the Gan Eden, they stay fresh all the time, forever. They don't rejuvenate themselves. Ube'afar lo yamut giz'am. Right? They don't die.
Yeah.
They don't die. The trunks don't perish. אין צריכים לעובד וזומר, שאילו היו צריכים עבודה, משם, מאדמותם, כן, מעבדותם. So this is the difference that we're seeing here, that the Ramban is addressing here. That the HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave, through the Yesodot that were in the Eretz, okay, he infused a type of vegetation inside the Gan Eden that doesn't perish, that stays fresh forever, until today, wherever that Gan Eden is. Yes, and for the rest of the world, a vegetation that recycles itself.
The Gan Eden, you said, is in Africa?
Yes, according to the Gemara, yes.
Where?
No, we have to ask Alexander the Great.
No, do you have an idea?
It seems like because there's a Nahal that goes from Mitzrayim, right? That Nahal that Chacham talk about, okay, goes all the way into that forest of center of Congo. Bemet. And there's it seems maybe again maybe there is like a veil that we don't, because we have the Malachim protecting it, right? So it seems to me that there's a veil that that doesn't allow us to see through. It's around there. It's around there, I believe. I don't have a scientific or
Water tower. We're gonna go look now.
okay.
I'm going.
You have some friends in Africa that could look for it.
כן. בשלישי, אוקיי.
Congo.
בשלישי, ברא 3 בריאות. וזה שאמרו, sorry, and he wants to say that this is what חכמים say, right, in בראשית רבה, בשלישי, on the third day, ברא 3 בריאות. הקדוש ברוך הוא created 3 creations. אילנות, trees, דשאים, vegetation, וגן עדן, and גן עדן. What does it mean with גן עדן? Because the vegetation and the trees of גן עדן are from a different yesod. Now, al pi Rabbi Chaim Vital, right? It's not that it's a different yesod. It's just that yesod was not diluted. The yesod of right, vegetation in Gan Eden, it was infused fully, versus the rest of the creation, of the rest of the world, where it was not infused fully. So what we have is a diluted version of what's in Gan Eden, and therefore, because it's diluted, right? It's not. What is it missing? The freshness forever. That's the element that's missing. Okay, the forever of the freshness.
That's in Gan Eden.
Which is found in Gan Eden.
Only.
So he says, and this is what Chachamim refer when they say 3 things were created on the second day: trees, vegetations, which we're talking about, but also the trees and vegetations of Gan Eden, which is a different type.
But it's one. It's not two. It's not trees of a different type and our trees.
What do you mean?
There's 3 things. Right?
Yes.
So what is?
The third thing is it's another type of vegetation that doesn't perish.
So it's trees of our trees, the Gan Eden trees, and then
that's no and the vegetation, the regular vegetation, grass and flowers and
trees is a separate thing.
Yes.
But if it doesn't perish, does that also mean it doesn't grow? Is it static over time? Is it frozen?
It stay fresh. What does it mean? Does it grow? What grows?
If you get bigger,
I mean, it's part of the nature of like Someach is that it grows.
It's right? That's because it dies, it grows. But if it doesn't have to die, once it gets to its maturity, right, it stays the way it's there. Your question is, does it keep on producing fruits?
They do not require anyone to cultivate and prune them.
Because I think when
I don't know
what the mystical essence of Someach is.
Yeah, it's everlasting. It doesn't change.
Because when I think of like what is the essence of Someach and plants, it's that they grow, right?
But they only grow because they die. They only grow because you have to work. You have to work the land because it's. You understand? If it didn't die, it wouldn't have to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ועוד אמרו, another מאמר חז"ל in the מדרש, אין לך כל עשב ועשב מלמטה שאין לו מזל ברקיע. There is not one grass on the planet that doesn't have an angel on top, מכה אותו, that hits it, ואומר לו גדל, and tells him grow. Hadau dichtiv, like it says, Hayadata chukot shamayim. Do you know the laws of shamayim, of heaven? Im tasim mishtaro ba'aretz. If you put mishtaro, right, it's ruling ba'aretz on earth. And he says mishtaro milashon shoter. Shoter is to rule, right? It's a system to make sure that things follow its rules. So what are the Chachamim saying here? Right? He adds something new. So what does it say? He says not only that there is a a difference between the vegetation of Gan Eden from the vegetations of the rest of the planet, but there is a power, right, that is in Shamayim, that is in the heaven, okay, that is in control of the growth of
The plant.
of the vegetation of the vegetation. Yeah. So
No, it's one constellation for each piece of
correct.
vegetation.
Nachon. It's a
So hundreds, millions.
no, Vadai, for sure millions, but at the end there's a power that forces it to grow, right? So the Rabbi Chaim Vitali says this is the delta of what was missing from the Gan Eden. You understand?
No.
In Gan Eden, it's full, so it stays forever. The rest of the planet that was not infused fully, right? So it's missing something. So because it's missing something, it will die, right? So how does HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes it grow again?
This power?
Through this power.
Oh.
So he took that power that was not infused in the rest of the world and put it in the mazalot, put it in the heavens, right? As malachim, as kochot shel mazal. Some say it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu infused that power in the moon. Okay, because the moon has direct influence on nature and on the waters, and that's how it forces the vegetation to come out. But either way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu used that power and put it in Bashamayim instead of into the earth. Okay, that's according to Rabbi Chaim Vital. Some wanted to say that that the Maasei, what this midrash is coming to say, it's not that you have malachim that hits it until it grows. Is that it's getting its power from what? כן? כל זה כן מלמטה, יש לו מזל ברקיע. מה הכוונה יש לו מזל ברקיע? The מזל ברקיע is the power of vegetation that's in the Gan Eden. Okay? And that's the power that pushes forward, right? So the Gan Eden receives from the Rakia, because the Gan Eden in this world is parallel to the Gan Eden in Olam Haba. So how does it stays fresh? Because it's under the bracha of Gan Eden up there. And why is it staying fresh? Midah keneged midah. The same way up there, the Gan Eden is forever, and there's no limitations. So Gan Eden in this world is also forever, right? So the physical representation of the Gan Eden on the world, right, of the Gan Eden spiritual that is forever, is that the fruits stay forever. And from Gan Eden, right, then comes the power of vegetation is spread out around the planet. That's what it means.
So all the magicians and sorcerers from ancient Egypt to all the pagans, they had something going on. They knew what they were doing.
What do you mean?
Praying to the stars and
no, Vadai, there's astrology for sure. There's astrology, 100%.
We believe in astrology.
We learned that when we were doing.
נכון, עשרת הדיברות. אנוכי השם אלוקיך. אלוהי אליך אלוהים אחרים. Yeah, for sure. Yes.
So when you say, so now Shoter means is the Gan Eden above.
That's right. That's right.
Shoter.
That's the power from above. Biduk.
That is the same Rakia from yesterday, from last week.
What Rakia?
When you're
Barakia, yes, Barakia, Ken. Yes.
You say that lightly. We spent 2 hours talking about Rakia.
Seder, but yes.
I want to make sure we're talking about the same Rakia. There's not another Rakia that we didn't cover yet.
The same Rakia.
Just making sure.
The same Rakia. Right? Okay, so now we have two pirushim in this Ma'amar Chazal, right? One pirush that says what? That says no. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu infused the full power of Yesodot in Gan Eden and retained some of the power from the rest of the vegetation of the world. What did he do with it to reassure that it rejuvenates itself? He put it Bashamayim, right, in the heaven, and that's what infuses the power of rejuvenation of nature. Or the other pirush is that no, the Gan Eden in this world is representing the Gan Eden of Olam Haba. And the same way in Olam Haba, the Gan Eden is infinite, right? So here also, it's infinite. In what sense? That it doesn't change, it doesn't die, it doesn't need to rejuvenate. And that's what pushes forward to the rest of creation, the power of vegetation and rejuvenation.
So can you say that actually, both of them are correct? The first one was for Adam Rishon.
Not in this
sin.
room.
Once Adam Rishon sinned, that's when it was done and taken back.
Ah, you're talking about the klala on the Eretz. He's going.
Two shittot over here.
Correct.
So one has to be, which is correct. Can we basically?
Okay.
That's my question.
So okay. So So he has this question on everything.
Okay.
So we prohibited that question. Who's correct? Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim chayim. Okay.
No. Can we reconcile?
Yeah. No. You can reconcile. It's possible. I understand what you're saying. It's we'll see, because he addresses the klala specifically, and once we understand what the klala did, then we can go back and say, does it reconcile or not? Right now, we put that question up in the air because it could work. It could work. But let's first understand how he addresses the klala. Okay. Ve'amar sheyeh kol ze leminehu, right? Vehu isu akilayim. What does it say? It says that leminehu, meaning every species of the vegetation is specific, right? Yep. It has a bracha from Shamayim. It has a malach or a koach from Shamayim, right? So he says, if each species has its own source of power, right, then you cannot cross them. You cannot grieve them. Because if you grieve them, what are you doing? You're mixing the kochot b'shamayim, right? And what happens when you cross the powers of the Shamayim, right? So you're essentially you're taking two forces that were created for something specific and force them to create something new, right? And that goes against the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's why they're rejecting it, right? Because each malach is created, or each koach is created for something very specific, right? And when you force from that koach to create something new, you're essentially going against the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
That's heavy.
Right? So, and this is the issue of kilayim. This is why kilayim is so because you're mixing the malachim, the kochot, the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu together, and you're forcing them. So I'll tell you like something very simple. So now we think that kilayim is just an isur min Torah. In the book of Reziel HaMalach, Reziel HaMalach is the secrets of creation that were given from the angel of Reziel to Adam HaRishon. We have this book since Adam HaRishon.
We do?
Yes. It was passed on.
It's Wednesdays.
It's passed on to from Adam HaRishon, okay, all the way. We have it today. People use it today. They buy it and they put it under the bed of the baby. You know, these little books with like funny this.
Yeah, Jake.
Okay.
Reziel HaMalach.
Yeah, Reziel HaMalach. Nobody learns it because there's a lot of sodot in it. But in his introduction in the Reziel HaMalach, he writes like this: if you learn this book, Adam HaRishon writes, if you learn this book, you unlock all the secrets of creation, and all the angels will be the powers of angels will be in your hands.
We have this book now?
Yeah, for sure. It's written,
We
printed.
put a shibbe underneath the bed.
Right. So the Moroccans we put Reziel HaMalach or a telim or a knife.
A knife?
Yes.
That's the wife or the husband puts in it.
A shibbe.
Shebbe is, they don't make shebbes.
Yes, they do. You can buy it in Bay Ridge.
Is that before the Beit?
Yeah, but those are not the real.
They're not
shebbes.
pure.
Those are the ones.
They're
sold,
milky.
What are you talking about? The yellow,
The rock.
the blue,
The rock.
the rock.
The stone.
Which one?
the
Okay, I don't know.
the
Okay.
cloudy.
You know what he's talking about? What we do when we do when we don't take off when we want to take off Ayin Hara. We do b'chor.
Eli gets it for me.
We take hor and it's those white crystals, right? White crystals. So they put it under. We don't do that. This is
perfect.
we
Put it in the car, we put it everywhere.
so we burn it when we want to take out. So Ayin Hara, we burn it and it blows up and it blows it's supposed to take away Ayin Hara. Okay. You want to so he says in the beginning, but I need to there's a not a retainer, there is A disclaimer. What the disclaimer? It says like this: that if you use one of these angels, right, and you do something that the angel is not supposed to, the angel will come back and get his due.
Oof.
Right, and he will make sure you pay for what you impose on it. So be careful. He said, if you cannot control yourself, don't continue right away at the introduction. So close the book and go home, right? And then he goes into the Yetzer Hara of power and how, etc., etc. So this is Kilaim. Kilaim is when you force the two Malachim to cross each other and exchange their powers to do something else. So now you have in this world it's so the Oraita, right? But Shamayim, the Malachim themselves come and get their due. Yes.
What's Isur de Oraita?
The Torah comes and tells you
To play around with the
prohibition, to mix, to grief,
Shabbos Kilayim, it says.
And Kilaim is like, for example, you take a vine and wheat.
No, I thought you were talking about the powers. I thought you were talking about something more Kabbalistic.
It is more. It is no. So
That's what a white is. White is from
no.
the
Deoraita.
No. That's not what I asked.
Morris, down here, it's the grafting.
Listen to me.
Up there,
I was asking. I know what I was asking. Not about Kilayim, about Raziel and
Yes.
playing around with the book and
Yes.
mixing things and.
No. So when that's exactly what he says. When you force an angel to do something that he's not supposed to do,
Like what?
You're mashbiya a malach. You tell the malach, okay, I want you to go now, and hurt this person.
Okay.
Okay,
Why isn't the malach not supposed to do that?
because the malach has his own purpose.
But you're going to ask the right malach to go do that, no?
That's if Hakadosh Baruch Hu wanted to hurt that person, he would have hurt that person. Okay, now you don't know how Hakadosh Baruch Hu plays around with his malachim. Now, the Sefer comes and tells you each malach what he does and on which level, etc. But when you
This
tell
is Raziel.
Raziel is the one that revealed all this to Adam HaRishon. Let's say I impose on a malach, I mashbiya a malach to force someone to accept everything I say. Okay, and it goes against the will of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Now, what did you do? He explains. He says it's like you handcuff the malach, and you force him to do that. You're using his power. Okay, that's all you're doing. You're using the power of the malach.
Yeah, of course.
After the malach finishes doing what you forced him to do, you free him. You have to free the malach, right? Then that the malach will come back, yes, and get his due. You force
the same thing
with the punishment.
The same thing.
Lavdafka the same thing. It could be different, but he will make sure to make the person suffer, right, for what he did. And there's the sufferance. You can go.
And there's no way to channel the malach the right way.
Yes, there is. For sure there is. If not, then what's the point of learning? For sure there is. That's part of the Leshem Yehud. Is when you do something and you say you're only doing it if Hakadosh Baruch Hu, if the celestial court approves you to do it. So yes, it's true that I'm using you to do something, but you need to get approval from Shamayim. If Shamayim gives you the approval, then you can continue, right? And that is through zechuyot and through whatever. Okay. So, but bottom line, what he's coming to say here, right, is that those malachim, okay, those powers that are very specific to each species,
Don't mix them.
Don't mix them, because once you mix them, right, you're creating trouble in Shamayim, and that comes and backfiring on the person. Why? Because when you grieve and plan them, makrish bekocha Maasei Bereshit, by the koach that you're making, you're rejecting, right, the Maasei Bereshit, the will of Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
Wow.
So you go against Hashem's creation.
It's heavy.
ועוד אבאר זה בעזרת השם in ספר ויקרא.
Fantastic.
But the aspect of like modern farming and agriculture that's not Kilayim, but you're
That's fine.
You're
It's not-
shaping and you're, you're
yeah,
evolving species.
Yes,
It's okay.
that's so. Al pi Kabbalah, it's not okay. Al pi Kabbalah, it's not okay. Al pi Halacha, it's fine.
Mhm.
Okay, Al pi Halacha, it's fine. Al pi Kabbalah, you're not supposed to touch, even though you're not crossing signals, right? You're just pushing one specific signal. You shouldn't. If you're going to go very far, Al pi Kabbalah, you're not even you're not allowed to touch your body. Right? You're not allowed to have transplants. You're not allowed to put fake teeth.
Mhm.
You know that? Why did you see the Mekubalim that's the ones that are Rav Yitzhak Kaduri? He had all his teeth. Okay, that grew back. But before that, he didn't have any teeth.
What do you mean?
He didn't have any teeth. He had well, you would see him sometimes with one tooth.
So what happened? They put fake teeth?
No.
He prayed?
No, after 100 years, it grows back.
Really?
Naturally, for sure.
What?
Yes. After 100 years, your teeth go back. Vadai. That's
It
So-
was his, your side, just a few days.
Yeah.
correct.
I'm not following.
Be'ezrat Hashem, when you'll be 115 years,
No, but he
you'll
was-
have brand new teeth.
He was 50, he didn't have
Yes.
teeth.
Huh?
He was 50, he had no teeth.
Not 50. When he was in his 90s, 80s, 90s, all his teeth fell out.
Okay.
And slowly, so you would see that he has one tooth, two teeth.
And then they grew back when he was over.
Yes. After 100 years, your body starts rejuvenating and the teeth starts growing back.
Even the 90s.
Wow.
We had.
How can you monetize?
Yes.
Wow.
Growing their teeth, yes.
Gotta be a way to
Well,
monetize.
Rebbe did not
Exactly.
have any teeth.
Huh? What?
Nothing, no denture.
Who?
Rabbi Rebbe, one of the conditions that for him to become a Rebbe, is not to have a matzah without fake teeth. So you have to eat the matzah without.
Without the fake teeth, yes.
Without the fake teeth.
With the gums.
Good with the gums.
Yeah, haram.
Good luck. See. That's tough.
Good luck.
That's amazing.
Okay.
That's holy.
No,
But the
growing back.
yeah,
Okay? We're good?
we're good.
Okay. Now he's going into.
The Raziel is in English and Hebrew? No.
No, I don't think they never translated.
Can we learn that or no?
But we try to finish,
No. וכתב Rashi, listen, maybe in 10, 15 years, if we keep on learning and
we have teeth again.
we learn properly and we learn.
Okay.
Ezrat Hashem, lama lo? There's a lot to learn before that. וכתב Rashi, now we're going technical.
Yeah.
Deshe Esev. What does it mean? Deshe and Esev, right? If you look at Rashi, he says Tatshe haaretz.
No, it's before that.
What is
It's
this?
the show, it's the show. You got it.
Okay. לא דשא לשון עשב, ולא עשב לשון דשא, right?
What's that?
Meaning עשב doesn't mean דשא, and דשא doesn't mean עשב. ולא היה לשון המקרא לומר תעשיב הארץ. And the Torah cannot say use לשון עשב, the earth.
What is this?
שמין
Esiv.
עשב, okay?
Well,
עשבים, it's מלשון
Yeah.
עשבים, right?
yeah.
The Torah cannot say ta'asiv that there should be asabim, that the earth should make asabim. Why? שמיניה דשאים מחולקים כל אחד לעצמו, נקרא עשב פלוני. Right? So in the deshe, each min, each species is called עשב. Right? When you have a lot of them, it's called deshe. Right? So deshe is a multitude of different species of vegetation, and Aesev is a specific species, right? Of vegetation. ואין לשון למדבר לומר דשא פלוני. We don't say דשא פלוני, we say עשב פלוני. This עשב, this plant, okay? So when you use the word עשב, it's specific. When you use the word deshe, is collective, right? Good. That's Rashi. And he says, "V'katav Rashi deshe esev, lo deshe lashon esev, v'lo esev lashon deshe. She lashon deshe. What does it mean? Levishat haaretz ba'asavim. It's right the covering of the earth with plantation, right, with greenery. ואין לומר דשא פלוני. You don't say plantations specific. וכל שורש לעצמו נקרא עשב, but every specific plant is called עשב, right? So the עשב is referring to a specific type species, and deshe is when you have like a collective, you have a group of like a garden with all types of it. ואין דבר זה נכון.
I love it.
He disagrees. You understand why we don't say who's right and who's wrong, because it's not
wrong.
He says,
Well,
okay,
So who's right?
Sheim Ken. You see the 6, I see the 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Sheim Ken. He says if what the Rashi says is accurate, leshon deshe lo yitrabe. You cannot have multiple deshe because deshe by definition is a ribui,
Multiple.
right? Is multiple. It's all. So the definition of deshe is what? Plural in itself, in its essence. והחכמים אומרים, הרכיב שני מיני דשאים. We see that Chazal say, if you הרכיב, מרכיב, if you bring together, cross together, types of דשאים. Right? No. So that's what the חכמים say. כן, הרכיב שני מיני דשאים מהו? That's the last. So what do you see? That you can use the word דשא in plural. Right? So how can it be? והרב עצמו מזכיר דשאים. Rashi himself says deshaim. So he says deshe cannot mean the constellation. No, not the constellation.
Why is it
the regrouping of many species of.
Yeah, but it's like plant. The idea is simple English: plant and plants.
Yeah, but plant. Well, yeah, plant is esev, according to him.
Right, but according to what he's saying here, according to Rashi, is that deshe is plants. It's plural of plants.
It's not a plural of plants.
It's a collection of
it's vegetation.
Collective.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm calling it plants.
Yes.
Vegetation. Okay, but call it plant or whatever you want to call it. Vegetation.
You cannot have mine deshaim. That's what he said. The concept of deshaim, deshe is already plural. So when you address deshe,
That's assuming you assume it's plural.
Groups, different groups.
but then
Groups of.
I understand what you're saying, but then it's the plural is different, because when you say deshaim in this, you're talking about the species themselves. Here, okay, you cross types of vegetations, of deshe, types of species, not types of species.
So you can't say that.
You cannot mean.
You can't say that.
You cannot. That's his problem.
You can't.
Right? So now he comes and he gives a different explanation of deshe and esed. אבל deshe hu hakatan atzomeach. Deshe is the sprouting, right? The beginning of the blossoming of the plants. That's what deshe means. Esed hu hagadol hamazriya. Esed is the mature plant that carries the seeds, that bears seeds. That's the difference. So esed is the growing plant. Yes, the blossoming plant, and desh, yeah, that's deshe, and esev is the plant when it's mature and with its seed.
So esev is like when you do the Birkat HaLevanot.
Birkat HaIlanot.
Birkat HaIlanot, and
Tu B'Shvat.
you just see the little bud.
Yeah, when you see the seed, when it buries a seed.
So it makes.
But you have a question. No, 1 second. Who told you that you can say that on trees? You're right, but who told you can say that on trees? Maybe that's only on vegetation. Maybe trees is different, right? You don't know. Maybe you can say that on tomatoes. You can say that on all the vegetation that grows and actually then develops the seed. But at the end, you're right. But he addresses it. That's what I'm saying.
Doesn't it make sense from the sentence that it is that deshe is the
sprout?
The sprout?
Yeah. That's
deshe.
That's exactly what he wants to say. So if that's the case, it cannot be like Rashi.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So Rashi's wrong.
No, chas v'chalila.
That's what he said.
Chas v'chalila.
אני לא אמרתי, אין דבר נכון.
He can say.
He says Rashi's not right.
He can say. You cannot say. ולכן יאמר Tatshe haaretz, exactly what you say.
Yeah.
Let the earth sprouts. ולא ייתכן לומר תעשב הארץ. And you cannot say, now, use the word עשב, תעשב הארץ. Why? Because you cannot ask the earth to sprout a fruit that has the seed already.
It's mature.
That is already mature. It takes out the sprouting of the beginning of the vegetation, and as it grows, it becomes a full vegetation with seeds. But it cannot bring it out right away with the seed. So you cannot say תעשב הארץ. וכל קטן הצומח מן הארץ ייקרא דשא. So everything that grows in the beginning is small, right? That comes to life. It's called deshe. Af ba'ilanot. Here is where you're coming. Where was it? And this applies also to the trees. And he has a proof to that, right? Meaning, velachem imshoch tatshe haaretz etz peri. This is why the pasuk is look at what the pasuk says, right? The pasuk says something very beautiful. He says, vayomer Elohim tatshe haaretz deshe esev mazriya zera etz peri oseh peri lemino. Right? So the tatshe haaretz goes on what? Goes on Esev, Mazriya Zera, and on Etz Peri, on both. Right? So the tatshe also applies to the sprouting of, like you said, those buds. That's right. Kilo amar, because he has a problem. He said, why if the word tatshe, right, was not applicable to trees, then the pasuk should have said what? Tatshe haaretz deshe esev, the earth should sprout esev, ve'totzi etz peri, and the etz will take out fruits, right? But it doesn't say ve'totzi, and the tree will take out fruits.
Yeah.
So from here you see that tatshe, the word tatshe, applies also to the trees. Ve'ineu keta'am tzemicha. And what does it mean, tatshe? Tatshe means like sprouting. Someach. וכן כי תדשו נאות מדבר, כי עץ נשא פריו, right? That's in Yoel, that the wildness dry should bring out, okay, tzmicha, should sprout vegetation.
But the next sentence he says, "V'totzeh haaretz deshe."
What?
Pasuk Yudbet, the next sentence he says, "V'totzeh haaretz deshe esev."
No.
Okay, so first he has v'totzeh haaretz.
נכון. That's what should happen.
Sprouts.
And then ותוציא הארץ.
V'totzeh haaretz deshe.
כן.
Deshe esev.
So what? Why he doesn't say ותצ'י הארץ?
Yeah, why does he say but why does he say?
Because that's what happened. The Torah, the earth took out the deshe. And what is the deshe? Esev mazriya zera lemineo.
The point here is tatshe. The
Okay.
point is tatshe. Hashem said tatshe. This is a big question.
Yes, but okay.
Why does he says tatshe
Okay,
here?
well,
And
we're
he
gonna
says
see.
v'totzeh
Okay. I understand.
Based on the time, the time itself is telling you what means what. Such a aretz, okay.
Chazal.
Then you'll go to deshe.
נכון.
Esev is shaykh lemazriya zera.
נכון. And
Based on the time.
נכון. Okay.
Esev is the mazriya zera. The deshe has no zera, mazriya zera.
One second. He's good. Okay, that's another pirush that he's giving. That's what? What do you want to say? You want to address something else? It's correct.
Based on the ta'amim, the Torah is telling me that actually deshe is by itself. It has nothing to do.
But tatshe haaretz deshe esev.
Exactly. That's what Ramban said.
Huh?
That's what Ramban said.
No, or it
But
means
deshe
deshe. What is
deshe.
deshe? What is deshe? Okay. Again, that what? That it becomes esev mazriya zera. So it's an explanation. What is tatshe haaretz? Okay, that's what it should be. Tatshe haaretz. Esev mazriya zera, right? Es peri oseh peri, because at the end tatshe is what refers to what? The sprouting. So what should it sprout? It should sprout it should sprout that vegetations that have and it's peri exactly. But you're right, because we're going to see soon that the way you read it solves another problem that he's going to address right away. So it's beautiful what you're saying. And let's see.
That's amazing.
Oh, wait,
ואני תמה.
the chalitz dish,
Wow.
The tropes are
the
teaching you
chalitz dish
Uh-huh.
has to be sprouted. Has to be sprouted.
נכון,
It's-
that's
The point of dish has to be.
that's a sprout. That's
Creation
exactly that's a
something.
sprout. Correct.
You can't create.
No, but what he wants to say, what according to Rashi, it will be, yeah, but bring out not one specific one
But
specific.
so say
Let's take out the garden. Let the
Separate
garden
item?
come out. What and with all its meaning. That's how Rashi reads it.
So Rambam says what? That the
No,
dish
no,
is-
it has nothing to do with it. That sheharet, it's the sprout. Right? Right.
It's a-
It has nothing to do with minim.
Got it. Okay.
And each mean its own, based on what? Based on the malach. Okay.
Okay, so
Then
did you get that, Mo? The chalitz dish meaning, the means of that is that it's gonna sprout something,
Yeah,
and either it's gonna sprout esev mazria zera,
yeah.
or it's gonna sprout etz pri oseh pri, right?
Correct.
So the chalitz dish, meaning it's going to sprout
Something.
something, call it,
And
the-
each mean that's their own.
And
Each mean their own.
and there's two somethings. He says esev mazria zera, and then etz pri oseh pri.
Now now stop a second before we continue. What without looking at the Ramban, what's the obvious question you have to ask? About the vegetation.
Why is the separation between?
No.
What's-
About the vegetation itself. There's an obvious question that you must ask. Come on. It's very technical. There's not used.
Technical or easy?
It's easy, technical, and in front of you. Again, the earth should sprout what?
Seeds.
Should sprout trees, vegetation that bears seeds and trees that bring fruits, right?
But it's the same thing. That's the same.
It's not the same thing.
One.
Because you have vegetations and you have trees. It's not the same thing. What about trees that don't bear fruits?
All right, he talks about that.
Right, that's what-
That there is-
I know that's the
that-
question.
that's it. Rashi talks about that also.
Is that the question?
That's the question. That's an obvious question. The Torah does not talk about trees that don't bear fruits.
Because they all bore fruit at one point in time.
No.
No.
Wait, one second.
I made it up.
No, you didn't know. It's no. One second. Chazaku Baruch. Chazaku
That's
Baruch.
from I learned in the Kabbalah.
It is actually very Kabbalistic what you just said,
Please.
and that joins what Mark just said.
I can't get into it, Mark. It's in Raziel.
ואני תמה, איך לא הזכיר הכתוב אילן הסרק? He's like, I'm stoned. How can the Torah not address the trees that don't bear fruits?
Because the land did whatever it wanted. It didn't-
That's afterwards. Here, this is the tzivui. That's the tzivui. ויאמר אלוקים תעשי ארץ דשא, עץ פרי עושה פרי, that's the tzivui. That's not what happened. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not say, we should have trees that don't bear fruit?
Because he didn't want trees without fruit. That's the purpose of the trees, to have fruit.
Okay, very good. Yes, it's an answer.
You wanted.
But in reality, do we have trees without fruit?
Maybe that's the klala. Something happened.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you.
I didn't read.
So basically,
I really didn't read. I figured,
Yeah, okay. So you're saying something, what?
Hashem never created trees without fruits, basically.
Correct.
Yes, he didn't.
Correct.
want to.
Correct. But 1 second, and I'm going to prove that you're wrong. And now I'm stoned because you said a hidush about your ta'amim, right? And now you just contradicted yourself. So I think you didn't really understand what you were saying earlier because you said a very big hidush and now you contradicted it.
The tree,
You're gonna see.
the tree that doesn't bear.
If you want some whiskey, it's free. I really
If you want to drink? Want some-
Yes, give me some drink.
Give him a little.
I have to go straight home.
No, so-
We all go.
No,
No, when I meant walking straight home.
Ah,
it's okay.
I'm not-
Tov.
One second.
Yes.
The trees that don't bear fruit,
Yes.
how do they grow?
Amen.
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 What do you mean?
They have seeds. It's no different than
So
anything.
they're
Yeah, but we see Etz peri, oseh peri. It doesn't say Etz shelo oseh peri. ואני אומר, איך לא הזכיר הכתוב אילני הסרק? How come the Torah did not talk about trees that don't bear fruits? Why would he said that he commanded that the earth should bring out only trees that make fruits? So he has a few answers. He says maybe this is what Chachamim meant when they said, like we want to say, even the trees that didn't bear fruit, that don't bear fruits today, originally they did bear fruits.
Yeah.
Meaning when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created trees, there was not such a thing of a tree that doesn't bear fruit. And you're going to see after that such a halacha, that the shoresh of the halacha of not to uproot a tree. Remember, we have this halacha that you're not allowed to uproot and kill a tree. Okay, a fruit tree, right? And you're going to see the imken nomar. So what happened? Ki mikelat arura ha'adama. Right? You read well. Okay, now I'm taking because of the klala that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mekalel, right? The curse HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought upon Adam HaRishon for eating from the tree of Etz Hadat, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him what? The earth will be cursed. The earth will be cursed, and now you're going to sweat, and you're going to have to work the land, right? So from that, as part of the curse is what? That now you're going to have types of vegetation that don't bear nothing. Because vidardar.
You're gonna work and nothing's gonna come.
No, not only that. Within the vegetation now, not every tree and vegetation will bear fruits.
Right, so you're working for nothing.
No, forget about working. The nature of the vegetation changed, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu dried out within some of species of trees the ability to bring fruits. And this is what is called the trees that don't bear fruits.
Now I get it.
And
this is now the barren item.
Oh, 1 second. So now we have a halacha that says what? That there's a isur min Torah, right? You're not, according to the Torah, you're not allowed, okay, to kill a tree that bears fruit.
If it's big.
Huh?
What happens if it's pretty much like in the ground?
It's not a tree.
I have something like that.
It's not a tree, but if it can bring fruits, it's enough. So you can displace it, you can move it, and as long as you make sure that there's by the way, there's times during the year where you can move it. You cannot move it anytime you want, because if you move it at the wrong time, it dies, right? Now, what's the pshat? The pshat is the following: that every tree that has a fruit is the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, without the kelala. So if you kill it, you kill the bracha. This is where the isur comes from. This is why you're not allowed to kill that tree, because that tree is the testimony of HaKadosh Baruch Hu first will to create the world with only trees that bear fruits.
Love that.
That's heavy.
No, that's great.
So when you kill the tree, you kill that beracha. You go against that beracha.
I gotta call my gardener.
Yeah, this is the sort of the beracha. Now we understand the root of that halacha.
God forbid. People lost their children.
Hashem yishmor, שלא נדע. כן,
Any
יש הרבה.
tikkun for that?
Huh?
Is there a tikkun for that?
Yeah, there is tikkunim. The Ben Ish Chai brings tikkunim on this. בוודאי. וייתכן שיהיה פירוש הכתוב. Now that's one pshat, right? Right. Now another thing. That's why you should know that also the nature of the trees that don't bear fruits. Okay, fruit trees that don't bear fruits. What does it represent? The klala of the haaretz. It represents the essence of the klala of the haaretz. So al pi asod, depending on the tree that you have, right? It or emphasize that klala, or make it more or less.
If a tree dies, a fruit tree dies.
There's no problem.
Can you please? I missed that the last part.
Yes.
If you have
a tree that doesn't bear fruit,
okay.
So it's a testimony of the klala. So depending on the tree and the shape of the tree, right? It determines how much of that klala is in that makom.
So if you're planting like evergreens, like what's
evergreens?
Like these.
A
big
tree, a
trees.
tree or a tree?
True.
Is it considered a tree?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that, you know,
An
the,
evergreen?
Fern, like a fern.
That thing that grows on the walls?
No,
No.
no,
No, that's ivy.
like,
Make a fence.
Like a Christmas
like,
tree.
you know, between houses, you have these big green, but they don't have,
Yes.
but you put these
It's not
huge
tree,
things
That's what
to
Gadol is.
separate,
You see them in Jersey. all
Yes,
around.
They use them as
Cordon off the
bushes,
Bushes.
pool and
but they're
that's it.
trees. They're evergreen trees.
Yeah.
So all those trees are clever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you should not plant trees like that in your house.
Lechatchila not.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
It's not me saying. It's
Ribbons,
good.
polys. There's-
Guys, landscape, Moyal landscaping in Deal, we're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Gonna come and
We're
fix all the trees.
We're gonna bring the beracha. We're gonna bring the beracha.
And flowers, how about flowers?
So it's not tree. And it bears seeds. And it bears seeds. There's no problem.
For everything bears seeds. There's no plants without.
No. But the nature of the flower, it sees. The nature of a tree is it's fruits. Now that's one pirush.
So you have to plant orchards in your backyard, essentially.
No, like privets and.
No, but you
No,
can't.
those are dead.
No.
You can't boxwoods and privets.
You can, it's not true.
Privets is a tree. A privet is a
It's a
tree.
bush. A privet.
I don't know. Somebody needs to. check.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do.
We'll do shiur on trees. Here we
Okay.
go. Serious.
Now, veitachen, right? Another pirush.
Yeah.
שיהיה פירוש הכתוב, and now this is where Mark's טעמים comes in. תצמיח הארץ צמח. That's one thing. ועשב מזריע זרע. And vegetation that makes, that bears seeds. ועץ עושה פרי. And trees that bear fruits. And what is the tzemach? והנה בתחילה גזר בעזרי הסרק ובאילני הסרק. If that's the case, then when he says תשי הארץ דשא, דשא means tzemach, right? There's one tzmicha. And what type of tzemach? All the tree, the vegetation and trees that don't bear fruits. So we have a makor based on the reading, the laning, like we say, of Mark, right? We have a makor. So according to you, what did you say? We say
Separate.
that's one thing. Then you said it's another thing. And then you said is another thing. And then I came and I said, deshe is just the general. And what is deshe? Right? That was my answer to you. And that's how he learns until now. And then he comes with a new hidush. He said, you can read it different. That deshe is a different type of creation. And what includes deshe? Deshe includes all the trees that don't bear fruits. Right? And it works based on the te'amim.
Correct.
Based on the te'amim, it works. Wima she'amar, right? Ose peri asher zar'o bo, right? It should make a fruit that has seeds in it. Nilmod, what do we learn? Ki kol ha'ilanot yitzmechu mizar'am. That the trees must grow from its seeds. Sometimes yes, havrach. You take the branch and you put the branch of the tree inside the earth, right? And from the branch, the tree grows.
A new tree.
A new tree, yes.
Okay.
But that's very few trees. Most of the trees, if you want to plant them, you need to plant the seeds of the tree. So not only do you use now the seeds of the vegetation to plant the vegetation, but the tree itself, okay, that its nature will come from the seed of the fruits that it bears.
The seeds of the fruit.
Right.
What about trees that don't have fruit?
So that's they do make so that some of them is avracha. You're right. Some of them you plant you put the branch, and some of them they have seeds. They just don't make fruits, but they have their own seeds. Huh?
You have trees actually that bear no fruits because you have got also within the plantation you also have female and male trees.
Correct.
So can't we talk about that? Can't we put that you have got the male and they
Yeah, you can say.
and they talk to each other.
Nachon, you can say that. You could say that, but that stays serak. That could still be serak for sure. Yes, for sure, for sure. That will be serak.
That will be what?
No, I mean the trees that don't bear fruits. Yeah.
They talk to each other.
The tree-
ותוצא הארץ.
The Gemara speaks about it.
נכון. אף על פי שלא נאמר למינהו. אוקיי. ותוצא הארץ דשא, פסוק י"ב. ברוך השם.
Oh, wait,
You know, I'm I'm happy because Zach is busy. He's distracted. If not, he would have asked a lot of questions.
Wait, where are you? Wait,
But-
You bet.
י"ב, ותוצא הארץ דשא.
Yeah.
Okay. פסוק י"ב. ותוצא הארץ דשא, and the earth took out the vegetation, right?
What are you reading? I'm sorry.
פסוק
You
י"ב,
bet.
פסוק י"ב.
What
Pasuk
is
י"ב.
Are you going back?
No, no,
The kriya, the kriya.
no, it's not going back.
Pasuk.
It's the pasuk. We didn't
We didn't do that.
do the pasuk.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's the shape.
Esev mazriya zera, right? So vegetation that brings out, that bears seeds, leminehu to its own species, to its own kind. Ve'et oseperi, and tree that brings out fruits. Asher zar'obo, that has its seeds in it. Leminehu, to its own kind. Vayar Elohim kitov, it's all good. Vayar Elohim kitov, Hashem saw that it was good. Vayere vayiboker yom shlishi. Right, so obviously we all know that the earth did not comply to the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and instead of having a tree that is a fruit and makes a fruit, the earth took out a tree that is not a fruit, but that bears fruits.
So why did Hashem say it's
That's
good?
Rashi. But the teretz desh is mazriya
The Ramban doesn't even address that.
That's what I'm saying. How does he not address that?
He doesn't address that.
ועץ עושה פרי אשר זרעו בו למינינו.
Okay.
Explain that.
So Vayar Elohim kitov, says the
No,
Ramban.
explain the Rashi on that just quickly. What's
ותוצא הארץ אף על פי שלא נאמר למינהו בדשאים בציווייהן, שמעו שנצטוו האילנות על כך ונשאו קל וחומר בעצמם. It says by the deshe, it doesn't say למינהו. It says only by עץ למינהו, right? So we would think that when it comes to the deshe, it should be all confused, like every mean will mix with every other mean. But the deshe heard, they say, if by the trees it's like that, and for sure by us it's like this, because we're more than the trees, and we're more minim than the trees, right? We're more species than there's more species of vegetation than there are of trees, right? So if by the trees Hashem is so makpid to differentiate the types of trees, then for sure when it comes to vegetation we have to separate.
But hold on, but that conflicts what we just.
כמפורש בהגדה. That's the Rashi. What do you want?
Okay.
That's not the Ramban. That's Rashi.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
נכון? Now, and we know what Chachamim say, that the earth did not comply to the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and instead of taking out a tree that is fruit and bears fruit, the earth took out a fruit that is not, a tree that is not fruit, but that bears fruits.
What?
Can we learn from this pasuk Yud Bet? Because in the first Yud Aleph it says that should haaretz desha esem mazriya zera. That's it. But then the earth is going to vatotze haaretz desha esem mazriya zera leminehu.
נכון? That's exactly the point. It's because
from this pasuk.
no, because leminehu coming to say that it learned from lemino of Etz Peri. In pasuk Yud Aleph it says Etz Peri oseh peri lemino.
No, fine. No. Vatotze haaretz desha esem mazriya zera leminehu. This is basically going back
To what? Yes, correct. That's
so
what
when it says leminehu, that means now you have got different.
that's right. That's exactly what Rashi says.
We can,
That's exactly what Rashi says.
so based on Rashi's.
No, according to the Rashi, now we understand Leminehu. Leminehu, where did the Esev learn Leminehu? From Etz Peri Oseh Peri Lemino. So it made a Kal Vachomer. If by the trees it needs to be separated, and for sure by the vegetation it needs to be separated. And that's what the pasuk comes as a testimony. That's right, as a testimony that according to the Ramban is very good.
He doesn't say anything.
There's no issues with that, right? Perfect.
There's no contradiction.
There's no contradiction whatsoever.
Explain.
That's Peri. asher zaro bo lemino. That's where the problem comes in. Because the Torah tells us, etz peri, oseh peri, right? Etz, a tree, peri, that is a fruit, oseh peri, that makes fruits.
But what do you mean? It's a fruit tree that makes fruit?
The
tree itself?
Chachamim tell us that the tree, if you could taste the tree itself. What's the bark?
Bark.
Le tronc, le tronc.
The bark itself.
Surrounding the.
Whatever the tree itself, the bark.
Like the
The
skin
outside.
that you.
The skin,
that you
okay.
break
You
off.
can, yes, you can cut the wood, eat it, and it would be a fruit. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted.
It's the same.
Right.
It's the same.
But what happened is that the earth took out trees, that the actual tree is not a fruit, but bears fruit. So that's a big problem.
How? How does how does the earth not comply with the Kadosh Baruch Hu?
Okay, that's a good question. That's what
What's the
happened.
answer?
That's the good question. Esperi, look at Rashi. Esperi. שיהיה טעם הפרי טעם העץ כטעם הפרי.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
והיא לא עשתה כן. The earth did not comply. אלא ותוצא הארץ עץ עושה פרי, ולא עץ פרי. לפיכך כשנתקלל האדם על עוונו, נפקדה גם היא על עוונה ונתקללה. Because she didn't comply, which is done on purpose, yes. It was done on purpose. We're going to go into it because we're not going to get out of it. וירא אלוהים כי טוב, I know you.
No, but I need to understand. Come on. This is like
HaKadosh Baruch Hu was gozer that it give.
we're on the third day. Okay, there's no human beings here. How did the
But there's essences. There's still essence, right?
but
The earth is an essence.
so the earth has its own will?
Yes, earth. The
And
earth.
the earth
So I'm going to answer you.
against the desire of the Kadosh Baruch Hu?
Yes, and I'm going to answer you. So very good. You want me to get into it? Last time you regret it. But I'm going to go
No,
into
no,
it.
I don't regret
Okay,
it.
no problem. The Zohar Kadosh says that you want to listen.
More focus.
No, if you miss that,
Go home.
okay, okay.
You want me to leave?
No, the opposite. I want you to focus. He's already on the phone. So if you're on the phone, both of you, and it's 50%.
7:30 already. 7:30. My head,
More focus.
Yeah, I'm joking.
And you can.
I'm joking.
Okay.
Right?
Time doesn't work on you.
Okay.
On focus when you're challenged.
This is time is circular here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer is the following.
What was the question?
The question is how come the earth can do something, right? That can go against the will of Hashem, right? Hashem says, let the earth bring out a tree that is a fruit. The tree should be a fruit itself. Meaning when you taste the fruit, the tree, the trunk of the tree, it tastes the fruit and it bears fruits. But when the earth took, did the commandment, right? It took out a tree that is a tree, that is not a fruit, that bears fruits.
It took out a tree.
What you know today?
That is not fruit,
What you know
that
today?
bears fruit.
Regular tree.
But normally, you should be able to cut the trunk of the tree and eat it. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted.
Okay.
But that's not what the earth did.
The earth didn't comply.
So Michael is asking, how can the earth go against what God says? Good question.
And
Right?
it's only Yom Shlishi, huh?
And we're only on Yom Shlishi. Right. So here,
And God said it was good.
here comes, yes, here's very good. Very good.
No, but God said.
Here it says the sod. Here is,
good.
can I talk?
No, that means he kept it forever. That's the we
No,
talked
very
before.
good. But
That he
say-
sealed it that it's there forever.
Exactly,
Okay.
but how can you seal it forever if it didn't do
What's
what
it
it's
do? Why would
supposed
he seal forever?
Exactly.
Because it's
Because what? It's not
game
going
over.
to.
It's done already.
It's not. No. It's not done.
Fill up the rabbi.
The answer is as follows. No. The answer is as follows. See when you give it.
By the way,
It's
you're on a
flows.
different level.
It's flows.
Seriously? When you have a little drink?
ביצחק. זכותו היא קודמה נאמנה ומה
You're on a
ישראל.
different level.
So here's the answer. I'm going to give you the answer.
Chavo.
The Zohar Kadosh tells us that Eretz represents, when you talk about Eretz, it means Sfirat HaMalchut, the Sfira of Malchut. The Sfira of Malchut is the last constellation, right? That we spoke, the last Sfira, the last, you know what Sfira is?
Yeah.
Okay? That basically, let man dileh klum. She doesn't have any essence. Okay?
Malchut.
Malchut. All she does is receive from the other Sefirot and
It's dust.
contains,
Yeah.
Yes, and contains it. So Eretz is called Malchut, is referring to the Malchut. Eretz can refer also to Am Yisrael, right? That receives the Shefa from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Here, the Sod of Bechira was created.
The soul of the what?
The Sod, the
Bechira.
secret of free
will.
will was created.
Good choice.
When HaKadosh Baruch Hu talks to the Eretz and tells the Eretz, now this is what I command, right? By allowing the earth to change the commandment, it gave the humanity the ability of the free will. To now, and Vayar Hashem Kitov, now he saw that there is a purpose, okay, to the Malchut. Now the Malchut itself has a purpose through the Bechira, through the free will. And now the creation really starts, and there is room for men to start doing right or doing wrong. Everybody asks the question, right? How can Adam HaRishon sin? How can Adam HaRishon sin? From which koach? What part of his essence? He didn't have Yetzer Hara. Yes, the Yetzer Hara came after. The Yetzer Hara was outside. He tells him, hey, confuse him. But all the Rishonim ask, you, Adam HaRishon, Hashem talks to you. You're Ola Temima. You were created complete. You can go against the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no Yetzer Hara. There's no confusion. There's no dimion. There's no imagination. There's nothing. All this comes with the Etz Adat. But before Etz Adat, how did you eat it? How can you sin? This is the answer. Because the Bechira was given to men. When was the Bechira given to men? When the Malchut was allowed to change, okay, the commandment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the secret here. And that's Vatotze Haaretz, not to answer your, but not Vatatshe. Vatotze Haaretz, because it changed. If he would have said Vatatshe Haaretz, that's going back to the Deshe, right? Then the Torah would have had to say, Etsperi or seperi. Now that the Torah is by Yotze ma, me'atzmo otzi. It took us from its own. He created something new, a creation that was not commanded by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And since the Eretz represents the Malchut, and the Malchut represents Am Yisrael, which is the vessel that doesn't have an infusion of the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and only to receives it, therefore it has the ability to make a decision. But if it's an essence, if it's a sphira that is infused by the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so there's no room for Bechira, because it's complete with the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
It's part of Hashem's plan.
I'm sorry?
It's part of
It's for sure part of Hashem's plan. But exactly. But how can it be part of the Hashem's plan? Right? That was his question. Now you understand.
Now I have a different question on that.
No,
Okay. So
His first question was excellent because now it made a lot of sense.
yes, it's
but sorry, but yeah, there's another question. If you,
the question still remains.
the question
is.
that question.
No, that question hasn't remained.
The question is answered.
Because once still, how come it did go against Hashem?
Oh wait, hold on. One thing.
The opposite. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't know that there's a free will.
No. But I was going to ask what Mark's saying is.
You wouldn't know that there's a free will.
No. The follow-up question is.
So the
Hold on.
will existed, in other words, and now it's just come into.
The willpower is inside the earth, but the earth had the free will to take out its oseperi, right?
Are we talking about the whole creation has? I'm talking about the whole creation. That is the moon and the sun and the everything out there.
Not the sun, the moon, yes, because the moon also is called Eretz, because the moon also is Malchut. The essence, what it means, what it means is that in the Malchut.
No, since there is Bechira Chovshit, free will, that's for every creation.
The Malchut, whatever is representing the Malchut.
Only, but why specifically?
That's why the moon is also sinned.
Why specifically the Malchut?
Because the Malchut, let Mandila, Klum, because she doesn't have an essence. She's not infused by the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, there is room for the Bechira. And therefore, and funny enough, what?
Even that Sphira Malchut was created by HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
But on purpose. It was created on purpose for that, as a vessel to receive. And that's where, at that moment, At that moment, the malchut took place as the ability of the free will. And it's very interesting that in the entire creation, there's only two things that messes up. There's only two essence by mess up: the eretz and the melevana. And we're going to see, right? Chachamim tell us that the levana comes and the moon comes and complains to God. How can you make one world and two kings? And that says, titmaati. So you have a problem with him. So we'll make you smaller, right? No other creation.
I have a problem with this whole thing. One second. That's fine. So Hashem gives Adam Rishon also free will and Aretz and yeah. But if there's no Yetzer Hara, okay, if you have free will, and the only thing you know is the Tzivuy HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what would drive the Aretz or Adam Rishon or Yarech to go against HaKadosh Baruch Hu if you don't have
because that's
separate power
that's the
that
free
would
will.
drive you there?
No, you don't need a separate power.
Of course,
No, you don't. It's enough that you have the power.
Imagination.
No. There's no imagination. No.
You're not listening what I'm telling you. Listen, I heard you clearly,
Yeah.
loud and clear. Trust me, I heard you. Okay?
Yeah.
I heard you loud and clear. And I'm explaining you. When you have a free will, that means the power is in your hands, okay, to comply or not to the commandment.
Yes.
You don't need to be swayed by another force, okay, away from that commandment. It's enough that you have a commandment in front of you and you choose to comply or not. You are saying the only way there is a not if there's another force pulling me otherwise. That's not true.
Because
That's not true.
I disagree. Don't
disagree. Listen.
Because
Listen.
If you're pure, if Adam Rishon is pure, right?
No.
He's pure.
Yes.
Wait again. You said I'm just going on. You said
Yes.
he's pure. So all he knows is HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Yes,
HaKadosh Baruch Hu
100%.
said everything is good.
Yes.
Something has to give you a reason why you go against everything that you know that is good.
But it's not the power. It's
By
yourself.
saying by definition, free will is A or B. You don't have to be influenced by an outside stimulus.
You don't.
Was every decision you make,
You're mistaken.
There's a
That's not
reason.
true. No.
you don't make a decision
Yeah,
like rolling the dice. It could be A or B, roll the dice.
No. You're
This guy
saying
can make a decision, but you're not telling me, you're not influencing me.
Okay,
I'm making my
something
own
has
decision.
to. When you make,
I hear you.
It's my brain can't understand that.
By the way, I think in his case, he was influenced by his wife. Baqara.
Okay, we're going to see that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But right now
What drove the Eretz not to comply with the Kadosh Baruch Hu? Just because it had free will.
it will get punished for it. It will get punished for it.
What drove Aretz if there's no Yetzer Hara to the Aretz?
But again, it's the ability to choose. It's enough to fail.
But
The ability that's the Musa.
But isn't it
That the
Hashem
fact that you
created
can the fact that you can choose in itself is an ability to fail.
by the way, the fact that we
Think about what's happening. The Shlomo HaMelech, it's incredible because it's just amazing how this morning I gave a shiur in the Perek of Mishlei, where the Gaon speaks specifically, and Shlomo HaMelech speaks specifically about two different types of chinuch, of two different types of children. The Chokhmah comes and says, right? I'll read you the pasuk. It's a phenomenal pasuk.
It's the whole parallel thing also.
What?
How do you
No, that's a different story. Oh, that's
it's a free will, it's hard.
No,
Says,
that's
hello. The pasuk says the following. Listen. I don't know what I didn't hear what you asked. One second. Let me finish this. The pasuk says, "Mi peti yasurena." Whoever is simple-minded should come here. Okay. Ken chaser lev amralo. But somebody that's missing a heart. Okay. Amralo told it. So the Gaon explains the following. Says the peti is somebody that's simple. What does it mean simple? He doesn't have any Yetzer Hara pushing him right. Who pushing him? He's a pushover. You take him right, he goes right. You take him left, he goes left. Says the Chokhmah, if you have a child that doesn't have a Yetzer Hara, okay, that doesn't have something pulling him in one direction, but he's lost, a little lost. You know, wherever you take him, he goes. Okay? Yasurena, throw him in the Chokhmah, throw him in the Torah will satisfy him. But if it's chaser lev, meaning somebody that has the chush. He has the knowledge. Chaser lev. He's missing the lev. What's the lev? The lev is the bina. The heart is the bina. The lev bina in the Patah Eliyahu. And what is bina? Differentiation. This the discernment between the good and the bad. And therefore, he's pulled by the bad. Amralo. So now the Torah, Shlomo HaMelech says you have to speak to him. You have to amira. You have to speak softly to him, and that's how you're going to bring light. It's not enough that you take that guy and throw him in the chokhmah, in the yama chokhmah. It's not going to help him. Somebody that doesn't have the that is floating, right? Yes, you can. But somebody that has a tendency, you must massage him. You must talk to him. You see here that it's enough that you have a choice, right, to fail. That's enough. You don't need to be pulled in a direction. If you're a petty itself, you can fall. If you don't have a direction, it's enough to fail. That's the testimony of Vatotzei Haaretz.
So was that Adam Harishon? He was a petty?
And to a certain extent, yes, because he was pulled like that by his wife. Yes, nachon, because he didn't have the Yetzer Hara of the Etz Hadat. He just did what his wife told him to do.
Etz Hadat unleashed Yetzer Hara?
Correct. Etz Hadat tov vara. We spoke about it. Now Adam had to differentiate between the truth and the good, right? So this is to answer now your question. Okay, now going back, what is the reason the earth sinned? The Torah doesn't reveal us. What's the reason? The question is how. Your question was how can the earth sin? How we understand? Because it has the free will. It has the ability. Why? We don't have an answer to why.
Well, the question is how the why is okay.
Even ourselves, we keep falling and falling and falling.
There's no why. There's how, but there's no why.
And we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is breath, and we see miracles. But still, we fall again and again and again. And Hashem, that upset us. That's another. That's by itself is.
Are you telling me that when somebody goes to eat in a non-kosher restaurant, is because the quality of the food is so great that it burns his brain and he cannot think normally? That's the why.
Ask Michael. He'll tell you.
Is that the why or not the why? That's not. There's no why. There's no why. Because no man is stupid enough to say that I'm you know what? I'm gonna let my desire to eat that pasta or that fish, okay, and that's gonna be greater than the commandment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That cannot be. That cannot be. So, then you have idiots in the
So why do you think? So why do you think people do that?
By Yetzer Hara in that situation?
I'm telling you what it is. It's the tendency, the instinct of the person that makes him not think. But it's not that he thinks and he agrees that the desire of the food is greater than the commandment of Hashem.
No shot.
There's no way in the world that's going.
So why is he making the decision to eat in a non-kosher restaurant?
It's instinctive. It's not an intellectual decision. That's exactly what the Ari HaKadosh says. The Ari HaKadosh says in Torah Nefesh, at the beginning of Torah Nefesh, he writes there, he says, when a person makes an instinctive decision, it's not a decision. It's a tendency. A decision is when you differentiate between true and good, between true and false. But when you choose to eat chicken over pasta or this restaurant over that restaurant, it's instinctive. It's not a choice.
Malchut is created on Yom Rishon, correct?
What?
The Sephirah of Malchut is created on
Correct.
Yom Rishon.
Correct.
So the free will is actually created at the very beginning.
No, the potential of it. But now it's coming into action. Because until now, there was no manifestation of the Malchut. Now that Eretz represents the Malchut, now it has the opportunity to react.
I want to just finish.
That I finished.
Vayar Elohim Kitov, just read the last sentence so we can finish.
Kiyum, Vayar Elohim Kitov, Kiyum Aminim La'ad, like he said earlier, right? He said it before a few times. That makes that Vayar Hashem Kitov, when he sees that it's good, meaning he stamps that this is the nature and that's the nature that it should stay forever. And what does it mean? That forever there could be in the Sefirat HaMalchut the Bechira. Now I ask you another question. Who has this question? How come we didn't make a specific day only for the creation of the trees, right? You asked or in the beginning of the creation, right? In the beginning of the shiur. מפני שאיננו מעשה מיוחד. There's no very unique creation there. It's כי הארץ כאשר תצמיח, או שתהיה ארץ מלאכה, אחת היא, right? The words, the fact that the land brings out or doesn't bring out deshe, it's all going back to the nature of the earth. So because it's not a creation of its own that stands on its own, the vegetation, it's only an extension of the earth. It doesn't have the merit, okay, to have its own day. טוב?
Phenomenal.
בעזרת השם, ברוך השם.
Why are we stop?
No,
Today, we finished today. We got one day to go.
יהי מאורות, yeah. יהי מאורות is fascinating. יהי מאורות, the next day is fascinating. Now we're gonna touch a lot about the Oraganus. And the Nartik
That's
and
the
the
item.
ברוך השם, ברוכים תהיו.